Hey there, fancy friends, it's Oliver, and in today's video we will show you how Spanish fencers use their legs, not their footwork, to be more flexible in their stance and distance management. This footwork is for general use. You fight with rapiers, sabre, stick, and even bayonet rifles. So feel free to watch even if you are not interested in stick fighting at all. But you will notice that this particular style uses an ambidextrous idea to strike just four hands. The Spanish fencing method uses 7 different guards, unrelated to the guard with weapons, 4 offensive and 3 defensive guards. Our first offensive position is our regular stance for weapons like the rapier or the sabre, and it's in a common fencing stance, so you add 1 foot in length between them, and the weight is more to the rear than to the front. You're in first offensive position. If you want to go in second offensive position, you add another foot in length. Straighten the rear leg and shift your weight to the front. It's like a half lunge in most other fencing systems. And if you add another foot in length, you come to the third offensive position, which is like a regular lunge. So you are in first, second, third offensive position. But you don't have to escalate that. So you can just go from first to third. And actually the second offensive position is our regular fighting stance in the stick fighting system, so you gave more pressure to the opponent. You block more to the front and you came more in. According to that principle, you came from here, and if you add another foot length to the rear and straighten the front leg, it's the first defensive position, and if you add another one to the rear, it's the second defensive position. So you're coming from here, cut in first, or you're coming from here, cut in second. And if you are standing in second offensive position, as we do in the stick motion, you just go to the second with a step, or just with a leaning to the first. And that's how they are connected. Yeah, it's quite obvious. If you are in the second offensive position, you just shift your weight and you are in first defensive position. And if you are in the third offensive position, you shift your weight and you come back in the second defensive position. And you could change with the legs in very different ways to bring them together. Of course, you could just, if you stand here on your regular guard, on your second offensive guard, you could just lunge out in third offensive guard, like here. Or if he attacks you, you can skip from second offensive to first defensive just for safety first parry, or you step out and lean back in your second defensive guard. But the real beauty is the connection between them. So I want you to try at least these 2 combinations. If you're standing here and he attacks you, you could just lean back, and then your rear leg is spring-loaded, and then shoot in for the third offensive guard. So you are from second offensive in first defensive to third offensive. Makes burn a little bit of rear leg if you are not well trained. So, and the second combination would be I do my attack, and if he attacks me, I just go backwards and forwards. And this movement saves you a little bit of time. So if I know he's really fast on getting forwards and backwards, and I do not come this fast, so I just, once again, come forwards, shift my weight and come backwards, and that's a lot more faster. But you have to know what you're doing and against whom you are fencing. So, yeah, that's nice. And if you have skip leg day, you could try the following as a drill. So he would start in first defensive guard, and I would start in third offensive guard. I hit, and I parry, and we just shift. The weight. What combination could you imagine using this kind of body movement? Write it in the comments, we will try them out. I love that quality and movement it brings into the style if you give it a chance. You will have noticed we missed two guards. These are the so-called Spanish offensive and Spanish defensive guard, which we'll cover in another topic. So, see you in the next video.